And that is, it's also the practice of traditional Chinese medicine, is that the practitioner, their ultimate goal, depending on the books you read, will suggest that like your goal is to help people follow their heart's path and connect their mind to their heart, where their heart is the emperor, their heart is leading, their mind is just helping to process the data, and their willpower is helping them to act on their heart. And that's the same concept of Jungian, and it's kind of the same concept of what you're trying to get out of psychedelics. So it's all the same, objectives and kind of concepts. It's just different tools because people need different things. Jungian work is super powerful. Psychedelics are super powerful. Acupuncture is super powerful, but depending on what people need and where they're at, and sometimes a combination of all three is what's going to be necessary for certain people. So for me, I'd like to have different tools in my toolkits, just because I know people come with a different set of challenges and complexities, and sometimes you need to use one, sometimes you need to use a combination. He actually studied under Freud, so there were a lot of concepts that we are aware of now that he kind of coined or came up with, or at least put some concepts around. So that would be the persona and the mask that we all wear. So this is kind of how we identify and how we show up in our everyday lives. This is kind of like our egoic or our conscious self. So how we've kind of adapted to portray ourselves in ways that we believe are socially acceptable. At least that's how things kind of start out. And then over time, you start to individuate and you start to really kind of take off those masks, shed that persona, and really come into your true self. And that's the concept of individuation, which is ultimately kind of the path of Jungian psychology and Jungian coaching, is really helping people to shed all of those things that aren't them, the concepts that aren't them, those programs, the things that we've learned over time, the things we've accepted as ours that really weren't. And the whole concept is to shed all of that and really find out who you truly are underneath it all. Also, there's also ancestral shadows that we carry. If you think about all the things that like are passed down through lineage, we have our own personal shadow that we pick up from our own personal life experiences. But think about how addiction and fear and anger and all of these different things go through generations, and you can literally see that track. That is an ancestral shadow, and it just keeps getting passed down until someone breaks it. So there's truly like ancestral shadow work that needs to be done to help people like release these things. Sometimes people will say like, this feels like beyond me, and it's because it is. That's one experience. And then, the other physical experience I can share with myself, just to kind of talk about how traumas like truly do get stored in the body, is I had a number of different traumatic experiences like we all did, but some pretty tough ones that I've been doing a lot of work around, and having progress on them, and felt like I was moving through them, but still having some challenges with it. And I went to Peru earlier in March this year. I'm doing some work. I'm working on a collaboration with this really incredible company that's doing some amazing work for sales professionals. And that's my background. And I know very much how sales can really mess with you mentally. And you get into it because you have a lot of, oftentimes there's challenges with external validation, with perfectionism, with never feeling good enough, with worth and with value. And you're just continuously trying to prove yourself through sales and being successful in sales. And it's a total like mind F, for lack of a better term. And I had been wanting to pull this work in with sales professionals. So I met this great company that is doing just that. So I'm going to be incorporating some of this Jungian work for them. And I'm speaking actually, or not speaking, I'm leading 3 workshops in a few weeks at Westchester University, where I'm actually going to be teaching the students how to do shadow work. And I'm going to be taking them through the process of shadow work. Because one of the things that we recognize too with even younger professionals and younger individuals, they don't know how to process emotions and really challenging emotions. Yeah, I work with individuals on a one-on-one basis. I also do a lot of workshops. So we can go like very in depth and do like pretty intensive shadow work through a group workshop. I like to incorporate that into teamwork as well for corporations. Every corporation has their own shadow that they need to work through.
It's a great idea.
It's all of these concepts that apply to individuals that they all directly apply to corporations. They have the shadows, they have their archetypes, they have ones that they lean into more than the others. They have their persona, the mask that they wear, they have their kind of heart's mission that they need to be able to get to and identify. So like, I would love to work with some business owners that like really understand like that Jungian concept and like transform their business from the Jungian perspective with using those Jungian modalities. So yeah, lots of fun things that we can do there for sure. Kind of like the integration, we have the journey part of it, which is going in, and I take notes the whole time because a lot of time people don't even remember what they said. You do kind of like go into a bit of an altered state, so you don't even remember sometimes what they say. So I write it all down so they can read it after. And then I just close by just saying like, I act as a guide through the process. I'm really not talking a lot. I am asking questions, or I'm maybe helping them on when to switch, or maybe throwing in some
like prompts kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. And with the insights, again, I allow them to come to their own. And I always will offer like, hey, can I offer something that I saw or picked up on? Sometimes that is helpful to be witnessed and to understand how you were witnessed and what came up to bring some awareness to some things. But it truly is like a very, very just like guided process for them to go deep into themselves.
Wow. I mean, that's not even with psychedelics, but that is doing work.
That sounds like a psychedelic trip right there. Thanks for joining us on the Healthcare Uprising. Make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons before you go, and take a moment to think of a friend and hit that share button. You can find us on all the major audio platforms, and we've got video on YouTube and Patreon, patreon.com/healthcareuprising, if you want to watch us in action.
You can also find us on social media on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search Healthcare Uprising to find us. And if you're a new company or a creator with a cool new product for the healthcare space, or if you're someone with a personal healthcare journey and you'd like to share it with us here at The Uprising, please email us at healthcareuprising@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you about coming on the show. That's all for this dose of Healthcare Uprising. Till the next time, keep looking for the good in the world, because sometimes it's where you least expect it.
This has been a Shut Up production.
Shut up!